What if I tell you that in the chaos of societal collapse, most people will not fall victim to violence or external forces, but will die from something much more fundamental, something we all take for granted until it disappears? And here's what is surprising. You are probably not ready for this. Stay with us because what happens in the first 72 hours may determine if you survive. Hello, everyone. Glad to see you again. If you're here for the first time, hit the subscribe button because believe me, it could save your life in the future. Recently, I delved into survival research, watched acclaimed documentaries, read peer-reviewed articles, and even spoke with former emergency service workers about what really happens when society collapses. What I learned was shocking. Most people do not understand how fragile our everyday systems are and how quickly everything can spiral out of control when the light goes out forever. In this video, I will tell you about 10 critical steps to take in the first 72 hours after the collapse. And no, there will be nothing about building bunkers or stockpiling rifles. You will learn what becomes dangerous during disasters, why panic is your worst enemy, and how even simple everyday items can become life-saving tools when the system stops functioning. I am curious to know your opinion. Have you noticed anything lately that made you think? Shortage of goods in the store? Prices that seem inflated to you? Write about this in the comments because believe me, these small signals can mean more than you think. So let's begin. This is not just for seasoned warners, it's for everyone who wants to be prepared, stay safe, and perhaps even help others when the world starts to fail. So, let's talk about the very first thing you need to do when everything goes wrong. Ensure your safety. This may seem obvious, but you'll be surprised how many people skip this step or do it wrong. So what does it mean to ensure your safety? It's not about building a fortress in one night. It means you must make your home as safe and secure as possible. Start with the basics. Close all doors, shut the windows, and draw the curtains. You don't want anyone looking inside. And even more so, you don't want them to know you have supplies. It's not just about keeping people away. It's also about protection from the elements. If a storm or dangerous weather is coming, you need to be locked up and ready. Check the broken windows, damaged doors, or anything else that might leave you unprotected. Consider your home as a safe zone. When you're inside, you want to make it clear to everyone outside that this place is occupied. Turn on the lights. Show movement inside. This can be a deterrent. Simple things, like furniture pressed against doors or tightly drawn curtains, can help too. And yes, if you live in an apartment or condominium, this applies to you as well. Lock your apartment, block the door if necessary, and remain quiet. The goal is to avoid drawing attention. You shouldn't be the loudest on the floor or the most noticeable target in the building. Don't forget about other entrances, including back doors, garage doors, pet doors, and even ventilation ducts. Seal off everything you can. Use all available means. Boards, heavy furniture, tape on the windows if the glass is broken. Every little thing matters. You may feel awkward doing all this, but trust me, it's better to be safe than sorry. In the first hours, chaos spreads quickly. People fall into panic, rumors spread, and soon your calm neighborhood starts to resemble a scene from a movie. Being prepared doesn't mean expecting the worst. It simply means you are ready if it happens. Ensuring the safety of your space is the first real step towards control in an uncontrollable situation. Take your time. Walk around your home, if it's safe. Check the locks, test the doors, and make sure everyone in your group knows the plan. If you have children or pets, keep them close and calm. This is not the time for distractions. Stay alert, move carefully, and focus on protecting your space. Remember, this is not paranoia, but protection, and it sets the tone for everything else you will have to do in the next 72 hours. Once your shelter is securely closed, it's time to pay attention to what is happening around you. This brings us to the second point, assessing immediate threats. This doesn't mean you should grab binoculars and play detective. Just take a few minutes to really see what's happening beyond your safe zone. Is there smoke in the distance? Are people running or screaming? Has the power suddenly gone out? Or is it just your machine? These first moments after the catastrophe are full of confusion. Everything seems tangled, and events are unfolding rapidly. But rushing without understanding the risks can lead to injuries or worse. So slow down, take a deep breath, and start gathering information. Look out the window without drawing attention to yourself. Listen carefully and use all available tools, such as a radio or phone, to catch any emergency messages before the signal disappears completely. If you are in the city, be wary of crowds. Panic spreads like fire in enclosed spaces. If you hear broken glass or nearby screams, it's not the time to investigate. Stay put and remain silent. If you are in the countryside, watch for changes in the weather or unusual animal behavior. Nature does not stop just because society has. A sudden storm or flood can be as dangerous as anything else. Also, check your surroundings. Again, did you miss any window? Is there a possibility that someone can get inside without attracting attention? Even small gaps can become a big problem later. And don't forget about medical issues. If someone in your group is injured, ill, or has a condition that requires attention, this also becomes an immediate threat. Prioritize safety, warmth, and basic care before moving on to anything else. You don't need to solve everything right now. You just need to know what dangers are closest in order to wisely plan your next steps. Once you recognize the threats around you, you can much better protect yourself, your space, and the people who rely on you. Next is the assessment of your supplies. When the stores are closed and supplies are absent, what you already have can save your life. The third step is to take stock of your supplies. This may seem simple, but it is one of the most overlooked aspects in the first hours. People are either too scared or too confident, thinking they will figure it out later. But believe me, later is not the time to wonder if you have enough food for 2 days or if that bottle of Tylenol bought before 2017 is still good. Start with the obvious. Look into your kitchen and clear everything off the table surface. Open every cabinet, drawer, and shelf. See what you have. Canned goods, ready meals, snacks, even pet food. If it's edible and doesn't spoil, take it into account. Don't forget about the refrigerator and freezer. Once the electricity is turned off, they won't stay cold forever. Decide what you can eat now, what can be saved, and what needs to be thrown away. Yes, that leftover lasagna from Tuesday night counts too. Better now than never. Then move on to other necessities. Where is your bottled water? How much do you have? Water is more important than food. You can last several weeks without food, but only a few days without water. Be realistic. Also check the first aid kit. Do you have painkillers, antiseptics, bandages, or prescription medications? If someone in your group depends on medication, it becomes a priority. Flashlights, batteries, lighters, candles, matches. All of these suddenly become gold when the electricity goes out. Gather them now before you need them in the dark. And don't forget about the garage or storage rooms, tools, fuel, camping gear, even old refrigerators. All of this plays a role in survival. That dusty camping gas stove from last year suddenly becomes your new kitchen. Take notes if you can. A quick list of what you have will help you plan how long you can last and what you might need to find or ration later. It's not about panic consumption. It's about knowing exactly what you're dealing with. Because when the world stops, what you already have is all you have. Furthermore, the fourth point is one of the simplest to overlook, yet one of the most dangerous if ignored. We are talking about something you use every day without thinking until you can't. Yes, we delve into the reasons why you should start saving water right now. So, we have secured shelter, checked for immediate threats, and assessed our supplies. Now it's time to talk about something that most people don't think about twice. About water. Yes, about that old good H2O. You use it every day without noticing. You brush your teeth, wash dishes, cook pasta. But when the power goes out, so does your plumbing. And suddenly that endless flow of water disappears. This brings us to the fourth point. Save water. This does not mean you need to start stocking every bottle as if it were liquid gold. Although, to be honest, in a crisis situation, it really is. It means being wise in using what you have. Start by checking every container you have. Bottles of water, juice packs, old milk containers, everything that can hold liquid. Even large soda bottles from the back of the pantry can be cleaned and reused. Just make sure to wash them well and label them clearly. No one wants to drink some mysterious liquid later. If you still have water, fill all the pots, pans, jugs, and buckets you have. Take long showers, but not now. Use the remaining water for flushing the toilet or washing your hands. Yes, hygiene is still important even in the apocalypse. Don't forget about ice. If your freezer is still working for a while, freeze as much water as possible. Ice cubes can still become drinking water. Smart, isn't it? And if you think, well, I'll just find more later, remember this. Clean, drinkable water becomes incredibly scarce when systems fail. Streams may look clear, but they can be full of bacteria. Puddles are definitely unsafe. Without proper filtration or boiling, Most water sources quickly become risky. Therefore, your goal here is not to panic. Your task is to stretch what you have for as long as possible. This means that first you should use small portions for drinking, then for hygiene, and only as a last resort for cooking. Think of water as money in case of a power outage. You don't know when you'll get more, so guard what you have and spend it wisely. Now we will move on to something that may seem insignificant but can become deadly in a crisis: utilities. Yes, gas, electricity, and all those things you usually leave on. Let's talk about why turning them off can save your life. Now it's time to discuss something that may not seem urgent, but is actually very important: turning off utilities when necessary. I understand what you are thinking. Why should I deal with gas or electricity? Isn't that extra work? But here's the thing. When the world goes awry, those very utilities that make life easier can suddenly become dangerous liabilities. Next is one of the most underrated survival tools: information, because knowledge is not only power, but also protection. Let's talk about how to stay informed without driving oneself crazy. So, you secured your safety, checked for threats, took inventory, started saving water, and even ensured the safety of your utilities. Now it's time to do something that may not seem like a priority, but is actually very important: to stay informed. I know what you're thinking. How can I stay updated if there's no electricity and my phone died an hour ago? Yes, in the conditions of complete collapse, traditional news sources will not last long. But that doesn't mean you should completely disconnect from the world. This step is about gathering as much reliable information as possible, while it's still possible. Knowledge is not just power, it is protection. They help make more informed decisions, avoid dangers, and even support others when the situation stabilizes. So, let's start with the main thing. Take all devices that can receive signals. These could be smartphones, even if they are dead, portable radios, or even old shortwave radios, if you have them. These little gadgets will open a window to what is happening outside your shelter. Start by checking your phone. If he is still working, open emergency messaging apps, weather services, or local news sites. Don't waste time on memes or videos. Save distractions for later. Focus only on current updates, government announcements, official statements, or verified news from reliable sources. If the internet is still working, great. If not, switch to FM or AM radio stations. Emergency broadcasts often use specific frequencies to transmit critically important updates, so tune into stations like NOAA Weather Radio if available, or local public broadcasting channels. You will be surprised how much information can be obtained from a small device with a few batteries. And here's a tip: don't panic at every new update. Yes, the situation may seem bad, but remember that the media feeds on drama. Your task is not to believe everything you hear, but to filter important information. Ask yourself, did this information come from a verified source? Does it correspond to what you see around you? If not, keep listening until you find matches. Also try to catch the general trends. Are several stations reporting the same thing? It's a good sign that the information is accurate. If not, treat it as a rumor until you get confirmation. In survival mode, clarity is more important than speed. The next point is communication within your group. If you are with family or friends, appoint someone to regularly monitor updates and report them. This way, everyone will be informed without wasting time and effort. Next, we will move on to one of the most overlooked aspects of survival: not food, not gear, but people. Yes, the talk will be about how to make a plan with your family or group. When the world descends into chaos, unity becomes your best weapon. This brings us to the 7th point: make a plan with your family. I understand that you might think, I live alone, or my family can't even agree on what to watch on TV. But the point is, in a crisis situation, having a clear and simple plan can be the difference between confusion and control, panic and calm. It's not about making a military plan. It's about setting expectations in advance so everyone knows what to do, where to go, and how to stay safe, especially if the situation quickly becomes chaotic. Start by sitting together. Yes, just like that. And discuss the main points. Where will you meet if someone is outside when it all begins? Do you have a backup place if your home is unsafe? What to do if someone gets injured or lost? These topics are not pleasant, but they are necessary. Imagine you are preparing for a road trip. But instead of snacks and playlists, you plan actions for emergencies and places to reunite. Assign roles based on strengths, not assumptions. Perhaps some of you can remain calm in tense situations, others excel in tools or first aid, and some remember details better than anyone. Use these skills wisely. This is not the time for ego or arguments about who should lead. Also, establish communication rules. If the phones are still working, decide whether you will have a group chat or a contact list. If not, choose a central meeting place nearby, such as a neighbor's house, a local park, or a familiar landmark. The main thing is to have backup plans in case the primary plan fails. And don't forget about the children. Yes, even the smallest ones. They don't need all the scary details, but they should understand what is happening and what is expected of them. Teach them emergency phrases, practice drills, and ensure they know how to contact you or another trusted adult in case of need. Don't forget about pets. Do you have a plan to quickly move them to a safe place? Are carriers or leashes on hand? Food and medicine must be nearby. Don't let caring for pets become an afterthought when the situation spirals out of control. Now let's move on to the next point. We will discuss what many overlook, although it can preserve your peace of mind more than any food supply. Yes, we are talking about how to protect your mental health in chaos. So, you secured shelter, checked for threats, assessed supplies, started conserving water, turned off utilities, stayed informed, and developed a reliable plan with your group. Now it's time to talk about something that doesn't fit into any checklist but is no less important. Protecting your mental health. I understand what you're thinking. It's survival. You're worried about food, water, and safety, not about feelings. But here's the truth. If your mind fails, your body will not stay aside. Panic, fear, anxiety. They not only ruin your mood, they cloud judgment, drain energy, and can lead to wrong decisions that put you and your group at risk. Therefore, yes, mental health matters, especially when the world begins to collapse. Think of it this way. Your mind is the most powerful tool in survival. It helps you think clearly, stay calm in stressful situations, and make rational decisions when everything around seems chaotic. But, like your body, your mind needs care, especially in high-stress situations. Start by acknowledging what is happening. Don't pretend it's just another Tuesday. You are in a crisis, and that's okay. Allow yourself to feel everything you feel. Shock, disappointment, grief. Suppressing emotions does not solve the problem. It only postpones the crisis. Instead, find healthy ways to relieve stress. Breathe deeply. Walk through your space. Stretch. Even 5 minutes of quiet reflection can help restore inner balance. And if you are with others, talk. Not just about logistics and plans. Have a real conversation. Share fears, memories, hopes. Remind each other that you are together in this situation. Laughter helps too. Yes, even now. A joke, a funny memory, or just a silly video you saw last week. Anything that brings a moment of normalcy. Also, try to maintain a routine if possible. Wake up at the same time, eat together, take time to relax. These things provide structure to chaos. They help your mind feel more stable when everything else seems out of control. Don't forget to rest. Fatigue exacerbates everything, including your mental state. Switch duties so that no one burns out. Even 20 minutes of uninterrupted rest can reboot your brain better than caffeine. Now let's move on to the 9th point. Manage your resources. I know what you're thinking. Budgeting is just tables and financial planning in apocalyptic conditions. And no, it's not about tracking coffee expenses. It's about managing every item you have as if it were gold. Because in times of collapse, it essentially is. Think about it. Once the world stops, everything you own becomes your economy. There will be no more purchases, deliveries, or the possibility to buy anything else. What you have now is all that will remain until the situation stabilizes, which may take days, weeks, or longer. Start by categorizing your supplies into 3 main groups: consumables, tools, and utilities, as well as medical and personal items. Let's begin with consumables. Food, water, fuel. These are items that deplete over time, so they need to be monitored very carefully. How much food do you really have? How much water per person per day? If you have a camping stove or fuel for a generator, how long will it last? Set daily limits. Even if you have plenty of supplies now, don't waste them. Rationing doesn't mean starving. This means to stretch what you have as far as possible. Half a bag of rice may seem insignificant, but if divided among 4 for 5 days, it becomes a true lifeline. The next category is tools and utilities: flashlights, batteries, lighters, matches, soap, toilet paper. Yes, toilet paper matters. These things are not just conveniences, but vital elements for safety, hygiene, and morale. Use them wisely, one match at a time, one flashlight per task. Don't waste batteries on unnecessary activities or meaningless video watching. Trust me, they cannot be replenished. And finally, medical and personal items: medications, bandages, pain relievers, personal hygiene products, children's supplies. These items are often overlooked in the early stages of planning, but quickly become critically important. If someone depends on daily medications, their supply must be prioritized, without exceptions. Now here is what is important. Track everything. Even if you don't have pen and paper, use memory techniques or assign someone to remember the usage. You don't want to wake up on the 5th day and realize you have only 2 matches left and no way to start a fire. Also, think creatively. Can you reuse something instead of throwing it away? Empty cans can be used for boiling water. Plastic bags for storage or protection from the rain. Old clothes can be used as rags or for insulation. In survival conditions, trash quickly turns into treasure. And remember, budgeting is not a limitation, but a control. It brings peace to know that you have enough supplies. It helps avoid panic when others start to flail. Because when the system fails, it's not always the strongest or the richest that survive. Those who know how to turn little into much will survive. So, we approach the final step. And, to be honest, this may be the most important step of all. It brings us to point number 10. Be ready to adapt. I know what you are thinking. Adapt, as in, change your plans? Exactly. This is the bitter truth. No matter how well you prepare, no plan survives its first encounter with reality. Think about it. You have shelter, you've accounted for your supplies, your group is in sync. Everything looks good on paper, but then something unexpected happens. A window shatters during the storm. Someone falls ill. The radio goes silent. Your backup stove stops working. Suddenly, your perfect plan has gaps. This is where adaptation comes to the rescue. Survival is not following a checklist. It is the ability to quickly switch gears when everything goes wrong. It is the ability to look at what you have, not what you wish to have, and make it work. It means staying flexible in your habits. If your initial meal plan isn't working because someone needs more calories or fluids, adjust it. If the weather changes and forces you to move, don't panic. Change your course. This also means creatively using what surrounds you. A broken umbrella can become a support for an improvised tent. An old t-shirt makes a great filter for dirty water in an emergency, and empty bottles are perfect for storing clean water or carrying small items. Adaptability also includes a change in mindset. If something goes wrong, it doesn't mean you have failed. You are learning. Every solved problem is a newly acquired skill. Each unexpected challenge is another test of your survival skills. And don't forget about people. In crisis situations, emotions run high. Moods can change. Stress accumulates. Fear can creep in. Being ready to adapt concerns not only supplies and shelter, but also relationships. Sometimes a quiet word, a moment of patience, or even a temporary change of roles can support morale and reduce conflicts.